Welcome to the podcast for empathy and imagination. My name is Aubrey,
And I am Drew Clark.
and we've been away for a few weeks, but now we're back. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for taking
listening.
time. Yes, and thanks for listening. Of course, as I just interrupted my friend, as I was not doing.
It's all good.
Yeah.
So, let's check in.
Okay.
What do you
Let's
say?
do a check-in.
So you're now a married man.
yeah, look at this.
That's my
Look at this.
understanding.
I don't know if you can see that one.
There we go.
Can you zoom in on that one? I don't know.
Yeah.
This is my
Let me try to zoom in. here.
hammered silver wedding band, and I've been wearing it since July 31st.
Okay.
I like it a lot.
Oh yeah, hold it right there.
There.
Zoom in on that.
You
Yeah.
get that?
Yep.
So I like this ring, and I helped pick it out for myself, although my lady did help to picking. So the reason we haven't done the podcast yet...
Did you guys both go together
Yes.
to
well,
pick out?
to look at my ring. And her ring was betrothed ring from my father, remade.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's cool.
Yeah. So, yeah, we didn't do the podcast for a couple weeks there because I got married
Yep.
and bought a business
And went on your honey
and went on my honeymoon already.
sun.
Oh, my gosh.
Your high fructose sun.
Dude.
I mean honeymoon.
Right.
Yeah.
My check-in involves, like, my wedding went so well, it felt like it was a movie. Like, you helped so much, and everyone helped and just made it all work. And I felt like a king, and I felt really loved.
Cool.
And I loved the music, and I loved what everyone did, and everyone there was just great.
Nice.
There wasn't any drama, you know. The only thing
Yeah.
you could construe as potential drama was
Yeah,
one of my family members was like very weird, and that's pretty normal for a wedding.
One of your family members was very weird.
Yeah, like awkward, nervous, just
Huh,
weird.
I didn't even notice.
See? Didn't
Yeah.
see? You didn't even notice.
Was it a man or a
It
woman?
was a tall man.
Oh. No, now I know.
Yeah. Okay.
I
So
didn't think it was that. I mean,
it wasn't
it
a
didn't
big
strike
deal.
me-
But
yeah.
see, that was the worst that happened. Was he was a little weird.
Yeah, and no one.
No one cared.
No one probably
I'm
noticed
glad
or
no
cared.
one was offended. No, I love you if you're listening. You know who you are.
He was getting pretty teary-eyed during.
Yeah, he cried a
ceremony.
lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. He cried a lot. I think
'Cause
he had a lot of
he-
emotions come up.
Yeah, because he was like, when he got married, you were 13 or something.
No, I was like 20. But I was in his...
Okay, it was something like you couldn't.
Oh,
you
yeah,
couldn't
yeah. I was a
Or
teenager.
when he met you, it was for the first time. You were 15. I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, it was pretty young and silly, but I was in his wedding as a person not old enough to go to his bachelor party.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Yeah, so
Huh.
that was cool.
Yeah, that was cool. I messed up the ceremony a little bit.
You know what? Actually, we
was fun.
It was fine because the space needed some noise. You know what I mean? Like Aubrey here we were calling in the corners, and Aubrey here had wind.
Yep.
And you did your excerptation. You did your excerpt too soon
Too soon. Yeah.
before everyone else was ready to do their excerpts.
Right.
But the thing is, it was just nice to have that breakup, and everyone was like, "Oh," because you didn't get to see him because you were looking away.
Yeah.
But the crowd was like, "Oh, cool,"
Yeah.
and then they didn't know anything was
good.
wrong at all.
Right.
No idea.
Yeah.
So it was
That's
totally
true.
cool.
It's kind of like bands, you know, like
Mhm.
you may fuck up, but chances are the audience didn't notice the mess
Yeah,
up.
most of the time, don't even notice.
Yeah.
So the wedding goes excellently. We have just like all the things you'd want in a wedding that we had, and you know, my dad. I mean, technically my stepdad, but you know,
Yeah.
call
Yeah.
him dad.
Yeah.
He did a really great job, and he thought of things I didn't think of, and he was very supportive and warm, and he made a toast that no one else would have done. After he had done several toasts, you know, roasting me, and that was just great, and it was
Yeah.
funny, and everyone laughed. He also thought to, like, thank our military, just to have the freedom
that was
to
good.
do such a thing.
That was pretty genuine. Like,
Yeah, he's like, well, it's true that my brother-in-law is a SEAL.
Right.
and
Right. His son.
his son-in-law.
His.
So it's like my sort
Oh, I
of
see.
brother-in-law. He's
Your
a seal.
step-son-in-law
Yeah,
or step-brother-in-law.
step-brother-in-law.
Huh.
He's a seal, and like stuff
Yeah.
he and people before him have done have made it so that we can have things like this
Yeah.
without
That's
them
true.
being interrupted by some fucking overlord or something.
Yeah. National parks,
National parks are great.
state parks.
State
that's
parks
all,
are also great.
That's all
so
thanks
it's like
to taxes
he was like,
and
you know
military.
what? That's kind of the nod to the family members who are serving currently and all that.
Yeah.
So that was cool, and I was like, oh, that's a different angle. I just didn't. Maybe
Yeah,
it was
probably
selfish
no
of me
one-
not to think of it.
No one would have. Probably no one else would have brought that up.
But we were all grateful, I think.
We didn't get to the full roast of like stories about
No,
you.
it's sort
I
of.
think I think Evan was really wanted to do that.
Oh,
'Cause
I did
probably,
too.
He probably has a lot of stories.
Oh my gosh, I wanted to also,
Yeah.
but it's like I think we were ready to go to bed,
Yeah.
and that worked out great.
Yeah, that was great.
So we do the ceremony. The next day we have this lovely breakfast, and it was just super fun. And it wasn't that much to clean up. We were so worried. My bride was so worried that there was going to be so much to clean. But
There really wasn't that much.
it wasn't
to
that
clean
big
up.
a deal.
Yeah.
So we left. We went straight to our honeymoon. And after a very also storybook bump in the road style experience with witnessing our honeymoon spot, we had a very, very picturesque and perfect honeymoon. I'm so grateful for where we stayed and what we did and how we spent our time. It was just lovely. So when we first get there, we realize the outdoor kitchen doesn't have a stove. There are loose boards. There are loose boards in the deck.
There's a lot of
that
false marketing in this.
Yeah, loose
this
boards in the deck. I thought I might fall through. The hot tub didn't work and wasn't a hot tub.
Wasn't a hot tub. Yeah.
Also, it was pretty dirty on the outside.
A cold cistern. Was it wood?
No, it was a plastic two-person sitter tub, but
Okay.
it didn't have. To me, a hot tub is a pump, a heater, and a filter, and then
Right.
a basin of water.
Right.
That's what a hot tub is.
Right.
So this is just it has a basin and a pump, but there's no filter and no heater. So you just add more hot water when it gets
It's
cold.
like a bath.
It's a bath with jets.
Yeah.
So the thing is, though, by the time you're in the water, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
If the water's hot and you're looking, all you can hear is the ocean. You don't give a shit.
I think the sound of the surf is like one of the most pleasing sounds of all time.
I agree.
I think, and this is just my cockamamie theory, but I think it's because from whence we came. We crawled out of the ocean millions of years ago, and it's never an annoying sound. You don't get annoyed by
No.
the surf.
No.
It's like just very pacifying.
Like
and
a
it's
heartbeat, sort of.
Yeah, it's like infinite variety. It's never the same. It's not, it repeats, but it's not the same. So yeah, it's so soothing to just listen to the ocean
Imagine being
and
in a
not
hot
have the
tub.
pump go.
Yeah. Imagine sitting in hot water with your new wife. There's just fog cooling off your shoulders, and you can just hear the waves.
Yeah.
And you're drinking a really nice beer, and you're smoking a nice little set of greenery. It was great.
Yeah, that's perfect. Was there like a deck?
There's a huge deck
Huge deck
overlooking the ocean.
with a stoveless kitchen.
Yeah, there's a barbecue on a wobbly post. So what happened was we ended up borrowing some charcoal the first night so we could cook our mac and cheese in a pan on the barbecue. Because that's the only food we brought because we thought we'd be going to a restaurant because we thought it was super close to Mendocino.
Oh, I see.
But it was 40-minute drive from Mendocino.
Now, when you say Mendocino, is that Fort Bragg?
I mean, Mendocino, the city of, it's actually south of Fort Bragg
okay.
by 10 miles or so.
Oh.
So we were much north of Fort Bragg in this little town called Westport. And Westport is adorably
see.
tiny.
Okay.
It's like 200 people. And the one restaurant in there is awesome. And the people in there were awesome. Like, we went there on the last day going, like, we should have been coming here the whole time. Because, like, they had the drinks were cheaper. And they refilled on accident a few times from friendliness of the people. And we got the waitress loved Rebecca's jacket and earrings. And she was
Where-
like, "Oh, where'd you get this?"
Where, this is
so
at a
beautiful."
restaurant?
This is
in
at a
town?
restaurant in Westport, right by where we were staying at this cool.
What's the name of the
ranch.
restaurant? Maybe we could plug it.
It used to, it
Seafood
was,
place, or was it,
It
like
was no, it was yeah, but it actually used to be a hippie stopping point, and there's pictures of Zappa in West Point,
oh,
and it was called something grungy, like the Cobweb Diner or something
the dirty
like that.
sock?
Yeah, I think it was called like Cobweb Diner or something like that
Okay.
for a long time. Maybe we'll have to plug it in the list it in the links below on the website.
Yeah,
empathyand'imagination.com to show where it actually was.
patreon.com.
But I'll say the name of the resort we stayed at, and that's Howard Creek Ranch. I'll plug them for sure.
Is it private land?
It's private land. The eccentric old cool guy owns it.
Huh.
And he's not much of a listener, but he does disseminate a lot of knowledge. So you can, do that for a while. And it was fun. We would go, whenever we were near him, he would like open up and talk about all kinds of stuff about what he thinks about the government and why he works and what he does. And, it was cool to hear him pontificate.
I aspire to be an old, weird, cool guy.
Making stuff.
That'd be cool,
right?
What do I want to be when I grow up? Maybe that.
An old, cool, weird guy making stuff.
Eccentric, old, cool guy. Sounds
Yeah.
like a good thing.
So he was awesome, and there was animals, and there was a little garden and stuff, and they fed us breakfast at this place in the super old, like, built in the 1800s house. Like 45 years ago, they were going to bulldoze these buildings because they were just wrecked, but they sort of patched them back together, sort of.
Hmm.
And the unfortunate thing is, right when you arrive on the scene,
Uh-huh.
it's a junkyard. There's just piles of old rusty crap on the lawn.
Is that intentional, or is that, do you think,
You know what? I'm starting to
like
think
to
that
keep people away or something?
as a time, let's do this.
Like, oh, that's just some old crazy, kooky, weird junkyard.
Well, I think it's like to keep away the really rich people. Because really rich people go, but see, it's not really for them. But the weird thing is, I actually learned that there are some notable billionaires that like to stay there kind of for that exact reason.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of like camping.
Slumming.
It's kind of like camping because of how rustic everything is, pretty dirty. It's not like a resort. It's like you were staying at a friend's house and you have to clean up, kind of. But you don't have to
I
clean
prefer that. I don't.
up. And it's cheaper. It's cheaper that way, too.
I don't like the whole resort vibe.
The catered everything, yeah.
Pampered, like super pampered. Like I can take care of myself.
I can't.
You
I know. You can make me breakfast, though. That's cool.
That'd be cool.
I'm okay with making me breakfast because they just bulk make it. This sweet lady. I loved her voice, too. She sounded like a bird. She was like... I can't do her voice.
Mellifluous voice, a very sing-songy voice.
Sing-songy, high-pitched, and I was like... She had small teeth, and she had this like kind of barreled chest, and it just... The way her voice sounded, I just loved this sweet old lady's voice. This old Hispanic lady. And she just made great food, and she was so grateful and sweet. Okay, it's time to cheers, man. That was just a lovely pour. Yeah, go ahead and drop that back in the ice. So today, we're not drinking any beer. Well, we're drinking a little beer, but we're here to enjoy some leftovers from the wedding. So some Kirkland Chardonnay.
Kirkland Chardonnay.
So
Cheers.
let's see, how is it?
Thanks for
taste it.
watching. Thanks for listening.
I get green apple. Little oakiness.
A little Kirkland.
It's sweet. Sweet finish, too.
Yeah, it's not bad. I'd like to thank everyone for listening and all our fans on Facebook.
Yeah.
A lot of fans from India.
Yeah.
On Facebook.
I noticed that, too.
Hopefully it's genuine interest.
I hope so, too.
Yeah.
Thanks, folks. So, to wrap up the honeymoon and my check-in,
Yeah.
I was just picturesque and lovely, and I just felt so honored by my friends and my family. It's really what I hope weddings would be like for everybody.
Yeah.
So
And it was pretty inexpensive compared to other modern
yes,
day
we did it.
average.
We did a good job. We
'Cause we
went over
did-
budget, but we did good.
What was the average that you
25,000.
25,000.
That's what normal weddings cost. We did it for about $8,400, including the honeymoon.
Yeah. My estimate was like $7,000.
So that we did pretty good.
Yeah. That's good.
And we had gifts from family, and I took some money out of the savings, and we made it happen.
Nice.
So
Did you
I
get the
bought a-
pictures back? Oh, go ahead.
no, I bought a company.
Right.
It happened, folks. You know my woes about money. Well,
Yeah.
they are they're nearly strangled
They're in
to death.
escrow.
Yeah, they are in escrow, and I've already begun the training. The seller of this pool route has begun training me, and it's going really well. He's a very nice guy. Everything's making a lot of sense.
Good.
It's a very simple job, and I'm going to be able to do the podcast, do music, and build my business, and it's going to be cool.
And you're taking over. He owned the route, and you're taking it over from him.
I'm buying a portion of his route. 39 clients.
If I could whistle, I'd go, whoo.
Yeah. So 39
Seems like
clients.
a lot.
Well, you go there once a week.
Once
except
a
for
week,
the commercials, you go
39
twice a
clients.
week. There's 2 commercials you do twice a week.
Okay.
So
So what? How many days per week are you working?
as it's its current incarnation, 4,
Okay.
and it's about 3 hours a day.
Okay.
One day is like 4.5 hours, but the rest are like 3 hours.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so I'm gonna
Are
try.
you hoping to compress it to like 3 days?
No, what I want to do more. Well,
Like-
yeah, eventually, yes.
I guess with the two times a week, you sort of have to go.
right. You sort of have
on
to do
a
the 4.
4.
Yeah. So
But you could do like one day and then day off and then 2.
yeah, I
something
might
like
do that
Yeah.
in the future. But what I really want to do is get stuff for Bike Order Warriors, so we can right now I have Mondays off, so I could do Saturday, Sunday.
Oh well, that
Monday.
works out because we have Angel Island reserved for September 11th.
Fuck yeah.
Angel coming up September 11th,
Mm-hmm.
10th and
celebrate.
11th. Yeah, which is a Sunday to Monday. So that
Perfect.
that works.
We're
out.
set.
Cool, nice.
So, yeah. So I'm realizing I'm gonna make the chunk of money what you're paying for is a guaranteed monthly income, but there's always gonna be stuff and repairs and baskets and things on top.
Right.
And that will be fine, and I can do it in about 15 hours a week. So what I want to do is basically double my amount of clients. Be working about 30 hours a
70.
week.
70 clients.
About 70, 80 clients. That's my goal for the
Buy
night.
another route.
I'm just going to slowly gain popularity. Well, I'm going to advertise.
Okay.
And I'm going to say,
Because
And-
not all pools are spoken for.
no, and they build new ones all the time, especially in Walnut
Especially
Creek.
inland, yeah.
So there's already 2 leads, neighbors of accounts I already have who want service.
Okay.
So I'm going to try to get those 2 in this month.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to try to get like 4 or 5 new clients a month until I can't do that many. And
then
uh,
hire somebody.
hire somebody, or maybe start hiring people a little before that to sort of train and apprentice and
Mm-hmm.
that kind of thing. So
What's
I'm
the hardest part of the job so far? The training.
hardest part? It's just just the details of remembering
remembering
which
the shit.
service is what at what house, because there's like 4 different levels of service. So this one's just chemical only, so you just drop a knee, take a sample, do the droplets. We don't do strips. It's not precise enough. Do the droplets.
Uh-huh.
And we only test for chlorine and pH.
Right.
You rarely twice a year testing for total alkalinity and calcium hardness. So it's like
Yeah, right.
it's spread out.
And
So you're doing
copper
that.
is irrelevant.
You're there not even 2 minutes, and you're out. And that account pays, whatever it does pay. But then the full service is like you're picking leaves up off the bottom, maybe even vacuuming,
Mm-hmm.
and scrubbing the walls and stuff. That pool we serviced, we
Right.
did not do anything close to what actually goes on at pool service companies.
That we did not do. No, we did. Well, usually
We did it. We went once and did it.
Yeah, but I think usually, I did usually scrub the sides of that, test the chlorine, and net,
Well,
and
then
clean the filter.
you do, but the time I went, that's
Yeah.
not what happened.
Yeah, we kind of breezed by that one. That one sucked though.
Yeah, it's too far away.
Too far away.
So okay, so my check-in goes. I've got a new company and a new wife, and
Pretty good.
I'm feeling good.
Pretty good, man. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for listening. That's just relaxing to hear.
Thanks
Okay,
for
Aubrey.
checking.
How are you doing? How are you feeling?
Doing
What's going on
well.
with you?
Anybody home? So yeah, it's just been moving and working and I don't know. You know, periods of transition are always difficult.
You had to move.
Any
again.
kind of transitional periods. So, sexually, I'm not transitioning. I'm gonna remain a man.
Remain man.
I'm
Okay.
gonna remain
All
a
right.
man.
Well, at least this year anyway.
But in terms of domicile, I'm gonna. Yeah, so I had to move out. So I found this place in Oakland, and it's a room for rent. And yeah, so far so good, man. Pretty cheap. It's kind of in the hood, but everyone's sort of an ex. Well, the two people I met, sort of ex punk house people.
Oh, like
So
retired.
like
they've
they've done the party house
Okay.
thing, you know. So it's not going to be that, which is nice. And everyone kind of keeps to themselves. There's no like. It's funny because part of their ad was, you know, we've gotten a lot of inquiries about communal living and you know you know spiritual space and all this stuff. And she's like, no offense, but we are each kind of living our own lives.
Yeah.
And
Some houses
that's
just
cool.
do that way.
Yeah, that's cool. Like that fits with my.
You were
My
moving this time
needs.
last year.
That's right. Right after Burning Man.
Yeah, you like lived at Burning Man
Yeah.
briefly.
For
Like some of your
7
stuff
days.
was there.
7. Yeah. Yeah.
That's just.
And Burning Man's happening in a couple weeks.
I know. Rebecca was looking on Craigslist.
When I think.
She was looking,
Yeah,
man.
I told you I was like, you know, Burning Man. And you had this feeling too. You told me about it, where you're like, you know, Burning Man. Like, so what?
Mhm.
And then as it approaches, you're like, no, I do want to go.
I do want
wanna
to go. Oh, of course I want to go.
I sort of do want to go,
Yeah.
but it's not in
Could
the
we
cards.
do it? Could we pull it off?
Man, it's like getting time off from work,
It's almost like if we could even go
dropping
for 4
$1,000
days.
bucks.
What if we could work for another camp and just go like Thursday through Sunday?
Right?
Even that.
It's possible, but it just seems so. It just seems so difficult. I don't know.
I want to do it. If any listeners out there are going to Burning Man this year and want us to go with you, just let us know.
For free.
Or for something good.
I mean, because it's like $1,000 to go,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm a little soured because of the post Burning Man car troubles.
Yeah, that's not exactly the Burns' fault, but it did sour the milk. Audience members, if you don't know, on the way home last year, Aubrey's van exploded in like just outside of the fucking park. Like literally, we waited all day and halfway through the night
Mm-hmm.
on Exodus, like 12 hours in line to escape. We pull onto the fucking road and his radiator blows.
Yeah, it's like 8 hours waiting in line,
And just
and
when it
then
started,
when it's
literally
dark,
the first pull out
Yeah.
on the road, it was
Yeah.
like, no.
Yep. and no cell service, pretty much. Like
Yeah.
very spotty
You
cell
slept
service.
in your van.
Yeah, I had to wait like basically 13 hours.
But
for the,
that experience
AAA
wasn't so
guy.
bad, though, was it?
No, it was just a lot of waiting,
Mhm.
and like having to. I couldn't get back to work. Couldn't get back to hot tubbing, so John was pissed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what else is new? Okay,
Yep.
so you had to move again this year. You're moving. You
Moving to the hood.
moving to the hood. It's kind of the hood. Do you feel like that there's some economically challenged folk in your area, and that there are maybe some homeless who might want to take some things, or you think about like
Well,
security?
Security is an issue.
Are we worried about being
Um,
mugged, kind of?
No, more like car break-in. Just because that's happened in the past.
Your team.
And that happened in Berkeley, in like West Berkeley, which is totally
Not.
not super violent. But that's my only concern, really. I mean, the house has a gated entry. Yeah, it's kind of a useless worry, I think.
Okay.
I just don't keep too much stuff in your car and whatever. But it's that West Grand 27th Ave exit.
Mhm.
You pull off on that exit, and it's just Shantytown.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's where you live.
So it's like a block, 2 blocks from that exit.
I look forward to coming by your
But
place and
it's cool.
checking it out.
I mean, it's a cool house. It's a big, cool house. It's like nice. It's got sort of a basement, washer dryer. It's got a big yard with some 2 huge planters. So it's like a full blown house.
Just
which is
sharing
pretty
it with a
cool.
bunch
Just
of people.
sharing it with a bunch of people I don't know.
And there hasn't been any bathroom issues so far.
No, which is surprising. There's 2 bathrooms. Only one has a shower.
Yeah.
And there's
For
6 people, so I imagine that people will just sort of learn when they can shower, when they can't.
Have you showered there yet?
Oh yeah.
Was anyone knocking on the door?
No,
Well, then, that's a good start.
it's just a natural progression. People
So
learn
maybe
when
people
they
take
can shower.
shorter showers to be courteous.
Yeah.
Like, you're not laying
And I
in
like
there
bring
40
my.
minutes.
It's like a hotel or boarding house. I sort of bring my toiletries in and then take
You
them
don't leave your toothpaste in
out.
the
Don't leave my
bathroom.
shit all over.
So you have
the
like
place.
you have a bag you walk into the bathroom with.
It's not like some women's bathrooms where it's like a CVS exploded.
Yeah. Like my bathroom?
No, yours is pretty good.
When my wife, whoa,
Yeah.
she goes a
Gotta
couple
get
of
used to
days
saying
with-
that.
You know, I do. It's interesting to say. When she goes a few days without thinking about it, it looks like a CVS exploded in our
Yeah.
bathroom. That's a good metaphor. I like that image.
So that's my check-in.
Okay, fuck
Playing
yeah.
playing music. We're trying to get a show at the Fireside in Alameda. Have
Which
you been?
band is
Do
this?
you know about that?
Uh-huh. I think I've played. Did I play there? Or no? Wait.
I've never been there.
It's
I
long
can't really
and
say.
narrow,
I
and
can't
there's a
really say
stage.
what it's like or where it's near.
I think I've played there. Yeah.
This is the unnamed band. We were
Oh.
called Giant Electric Spider,
I
but
still think that name rocks.
really,
I prefer it.
I really don't like that name.
It's not the name you had after that is so much worse.
Friends of Anjan. Yeah. I had a whole list of names, and they were somewhat summarily denounced.
All of them were just announced.
No, they weren't denounced, but they were just no one was super excited about them.
So you're playing in how many bands right now?
Just 2.
Just 2.
Rowdy Gents is not doing anything,
Yeah.
so just the black metal
Mm-hmm.
Apotheosis and this 90s indie rock band.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm constantly playing with myself.
Well,
but I was
okay.
gonna try to record some when I was house sitting, but
oh,
just working too much.
oh, gotcha. Yeah, the studio here, it's tempting.
Yeah.
But not always available from other angles.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's my check-in.
Thanks, man. Thanks for checking in. I appreciate hearing how you're doing. So, here we are, the podcast for empathy and imagination, and there's lots of things to do here. There's so much to do, and I'm happy we get to do it here. So, cheers to that.
Cheers to that.
Would you be willing to talk about a public figure with me?
Sure.
So, there's this person, a public figure, and I don't want to get real heavy, but we're gonna pick up a couple of weights.
That's fine.
And bench press a little bit. There's this public figure person, and when I first saw this person, I was like, ooh, it's a very much know-it-all energy that's just really boring and uninteresting.
Mm-hmm.
And then I watched more
Interested.
content. I watched more content, and I was like, oh, well, I guess in debate, they do keep hanging on to reason. And, okay, all right, they kind of seem to be winning debates, in my view. And then this person gets a lot of negative attention. Actually, this person received, according to the Anti-Jew League, like they measure the anti-Semitic messages people get on the internet, and there's like a
Okay.
number one recipient of anti-Semitic.
Okay.
This person took 40% of all anti-Semitic.
We talking Milo
tweets.
Yiannopoulos? We talking Mike Cernovich? We talking Sargon of Akkad? We talking
Well, see, I'm
Scott
getting to who it
Adams?
is,
We talking-
right?
Yeah.
I'm getting there, right? Could be lots of people. So this
40%.
40% of all of the anti-Semitic
For the
tweets
ADL,
in
right.
2016 were directly related to him personally.
Okay. Sam Hyde.
No.
Okay. Good.
So then I saw this person on Joe Rogan, and I saw more of the contemplative, thoughtful, meaningful side.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, we could pull up a few things, but I'm curious to hear you talk about it for a minute, and then let's maybe see if we can find any empathy or imagination about Ben Shapiro.
Oh, yeah. That's funny because he's actually Jewish. So the whole Anti-Defamation League accusations.
I mean, that's not what it's really called. I mean, there's like a thing for Jewish specific.
Yeah, it's the ADL. I mean, I know that is a
Oh, it might be that.
that is an organization, the Anti-Defamation League, who are vigilant about defaming.
I mean,
Jewish,
can you imagine receiving
people.
nearly half of all of that in your just
It's so
life?
funny because he's like an Orthodox Jew. Like he wears
Well,
the yarmulke all
No,
the time.
they're saying anti-Semitic things to him, so they know
Oh, I
that
see.
he's
What you're saying.
Jewish.
That he's receiving.
Yes.
For I see. Okay.
So
Yeah.
they're the whomever on Twitter thinks that he sucks as a Jew, pretty much.
Right. I don't know what that means.
I don't know either. But it's like I heard him talk more, and I was like, I think there's probably more substance here, because the things he's divided on, I feel pretty good about. And I was like, well, that's cool. Cool that this person I was first offended by, I listened to more, and was like, well, I think I'm going to keep listening because I've actually found some value here.
He makes a compelling case. I mean, he's very rational.
What do you know about Ben Shapiro?
His catchphrase is, "Facts don't care about your feelings." So he's anti-SJW, social justice warrior, liberal snowflake, microaggression, safe space. He's anti all that stuff because facts don't care about your feelings, and he cares about facts. And he went to I think UCLA, and then he went to Harvard Law. And he was like, "Yeah, the only way he's like, in class I was a total conservative, but then when I took tests in the anonymous like Blue Book tests, he's like, I had to write like a liberal so I could pass the classes." So he's a conservative guy. I think he has I forget what his website is, Daily Wire. That's what
he's
dailywire.com. He's got a
actually
podcast.
got it pulled up here.
And he talks very fast, and he's very rational, and makes a lot of good arguments
He talks down a
for
little
things. He does talk down a little
bit. He
bit.
talks down, and I find that's really grating. But
He's very traditional. Like
Mhm.
he likes musicals. He's
mm-hmm.
kind of a traditional Jew. Like
apparently everyone in his family talks like that, like
Yeah.
fast.
yeah,
His kids even.
that's
do.
right. He was on Joe Rogan just recently. I watched that whole thing. Totally captivating. And like he doesn't swear that much, but he did on Joe Rogan's podcast. So he's kind of a wholesome dude.
Super smart guy.
Yeah, and there's actually videos of him, like 10 years old, playing the violin just masterfully. Like he's a prodigy.
Yeah.
He's a gifted individual. I think he's like 32, 33.
33.
Um,
You're younger than I.
I don't agree with everything, but
No,
he
but
makes a compelling case for a lot of things.
I like
mean,
how he has me thinking on certain angles of things.
yeah, like he's against. I mean, I don't want to speak for him, but he's against like affirmative action and
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that, and universal basic income. Yeah, I'm sort of a fan. I mean, again, I don't have to agree with everything he says, but he does get me thinking, and that I think is important.
Yeah, I think his draw is that he gets one to think. It's like things. I don't even know if I disagree with that much of what he says. specifically as much as how he delivers.
Is
what
it
he's
more?
talking
Yeah, I was gonna
about.
say, is it more his delivery?
Yeah, so I think I mostly dislike his delivery, and think he
Mm.
might actually reach more people with a slightly different delivery. But that's not his shtick. That's my shtick. So
Right. Yeah, I could see the know-it-all thing.
yeah, burn me.
But
then,
he's-
then I'm like, okay, wait, no,
But
he's not just pro-Trump either, and he
No,
is.
no, he's super.
He
He's,
didn't vote for Trump, and he's
That's
not
right.
a Trump supporter.
That's right.
But people conflate that.
People conflate conservative with Trump supporter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He said this is the first time. I think he just said neither candidate. He voted in the primaries for Ted Cruz.
Yeah, he just didn't vote top of the ticket. He just
Didn't
voted
vote.
on
So that's what I did. So we
And
did
so
the
he
same
he
thing.
calls out Trump for his bullshit,
Oh yeah, and he praises where it's due, and
yeah.
that's fine.
and that's like
That's like a reporter.
cool. Like that's a rational way to approach it. Now, most people don't operate rationally. So he's kind of a weirdo that way. Most people don't make decisions based on rational thought. Most decisions are based on feelings.
Mm-hmm.
So he is kind of like an anomaly that way, in that he is super rational. And
Yeah,
actually,
he
there's one of his
connects
podcasts
ideas well.
where his dad is on. He has his dad on his podcast.
Yeah, he loves his dad a lot, right?
Yeah, and his dad was telling him just like he's like, yeah, when you were really young, you were like jumping on the vacuum cleaner, and I just said, you know, if you keep jumping on the vacuum cleaner, it's gonna break. And so he stopped jumping on the vacuum cleaner, and his dad's like, then I realized that you could be reasoned with. That you were very
As a
rational.
crazy child, you
Even
could
as
be
a
reasoned
kid,
with.
you were very rational, and that's just the way his mind works, you know. So he's got his law degree. His like wife is a doctor.
Yeah,
Just
Kids.
super smart.
yeah, super smart guy.
Yeah.
You know, I think that there's in the extreme left, there's a lot of pushback now against Sam Harris, a person I value in our community.
There was a lot of pushback since that Scott Adams interview.
Well, so what? You know, I mean,
But,
it's like,
I mean,
but there's
welcome to the internet.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's like people calling Sam Harris like racist, a white supremacist is like
That's
he's
so
the
weird.
he's the left coast liberally hippie meditation guy.
Right.
That's who he is.
Right. He's
who
the-
has
he's
his
the hippie dippy.
brain degree.
Yeah.
And it's like that's not the some of that. I'm so disappointed with the deep left.
Yeah. People are so quick to just label instead of listen and understand, and
That's-
that's where empathy
That's the
comes
mode
in.
of it.
There's like there needs to be compassion.
Oh, look at that.
There needs to be compassion and like a willingness to listen to people.
Can people see this?
I
We're
don't
being
know.
visited by a friend.
There's a spider.
Yeah, a spider coming down. Let's just let him go. Fritz probably can't even see it, huh?
People hear one argument and they're like, "Oh, he's blank.
Yeah.
He's this. He's
Well,
that."
I think
It's like I think human behavior and thought is a little more nuanced than just that.
I hear Jordan Peterson, who YouTube just pulled him. I don't know if you knew that.
Yeah, I heard about that, and then they reinstated it.
Okay. Well,
He's a hero.
the thing is, he talks about postmodernism and of the extreme left as that. That's what he talks about it as.
Yeah.
And if I were to copy him, I would say that that extreme version of thinking gets you so. There he goes. It gets you so. That's your tactic is to not debate.
Right.
But just to be too offended to debate.
Outraged.
Outraged.
Yep.
And the thing is,
And I've
that's
encountered
the
that.
opposite.
I've encountered that in my own dealings.
But everybody does that. But if the
Sure,
culture
sure.
does that as its own method, that's not going to. You're going to be isolating yourself.
Right. That's why we need free speech, golden rule, scientific method.
Yeah.
Bam. The best ideas. The triumvirate of kick-ass ideas. Yeah. Yeah. So is it because of Joe Rogan's podcast that you were introduced to Ben Shapiro, or
No,
did you know about him before that?
I've been watching his videos.
Okay.
Sometimes you go on YouTube in all caps. It says like, "Libtard gets spanked,
wrecked,
by Ben
destroyed."
Shapiro," and it's like
It's like
you don't need. That's just clickbait.
That's hyperbole.
Yeah, just let them have a debate, and then you go and you watch a few, and you see this
And it's just-
well-intentioned college student.
It's just reasoned.
He comes up and he's like, "Hey, so what about this?" And then he goes, "Well, there are three things I think about that: this, and that."
Yeah.
And through time, before and after.
Annihilated by
Yeah.
Ben Shapiro.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you. Like, it is clickbait.
But then you watch a few of them, and you're like, that kind of is. That's an extreme way of saying that this person wasn't ready for the debate, and Ben Shapiro was.
Right.
I mean,
that's why he's giving talks, and
yeah,
the person
he's ready for the
question
debate.
is
He's
not.
ready for the debate.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. So maybe I'm becoming a Ben Shapiro fan, but not completely, because some of the stuff he says he's off.
Well, sure. I think the more important takeaway is like become a fan of sort of the dialectic. Become a fan of reasoned debate and ideas clashing on the battleground of ideas. I'm a fan of that. Wherever those ideas come from is almost irrelevant. I'm a fan of like, oh, that's interesting. I could see that. You know.
Hmm.
But yeah, I'm sort of a fan of Ben Shapiro in that he breaks a lot of stuff down in a way that's like, huh.
I'd want him
Okay.
on my team.
Yeah. Like, okay.
If I could pick some people on the team of like we're gonna change shit, I'd want him on the team.
Yeah. Because he's all about policy, and he's
And
like,
thinking things through and looking at history and scientific method.
Yeah.
So
And he's
those
saying-
are pretty good. He loves scientific method.
yeah, and he's like, you can say there's institutional racism, but if we want to change the policy, you got to give me concrete examples. That's the only way we're going to do this together.
I
Make these
guess.
changes together. It's not me versus you. It's like I'm on board. Show me where the injustice is, and I'll be all for defending your side.
Yeah,
Which is great,
I think I have one thing, and it's like the yarmulke. Because he's such a brilliant dude. I kind of doubt that he believes that the Old Testament is the infallible, total, complete word of the creator of the universe, and that the yarmulke supports that. I kind of think that's a cultural thing. You also
Sure.
know it's the exact
Sure.
color of his hair, so it's like really hard to see.
Right. It's probably not a
That's not a mistake.
mistake.
He's on TV
But
all
I think
the
he
time.
explains his beliefs. He's not super forthcoming about it, but I think he does explain his beliefs, and I don't think he thinks that it's all the exact word and it's all true. But again,
But the
I don't
silly
want
hats, man.
to speak for him.
I think he's wearing the hat to appease a certain audience. But
Oh,
not-
you think it's like marketing?
yeah.
Okay.
I don't think it's fully genuine.
Huh. All right.
But that's
That's
just
fair.
I'm
I don't
just-
know.
I'm casting I'm just casting a line.
Yeah. I actually don't know.
I don't know either. I could be wrong. Maybe he's deeply religious, and I just don't understand how those two things could be mutually true.
Mm. Yeah, to be so reasonable and yet so superstitious.
And to look at that book and go, yeah, this is fine. I'll go right
This is
along with all
this
that.
is all fine.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, cool.
He's.
But he believes in evolution and stuff, I think.
I hope so.
I think. I don't
Believing
again, I
in
don't know.
evolution is like believing in breathing.
Right.
So
It's like believing in gravity. Pretty sure it exists.
I'm pretty sure gravity's
Cool.
working just fine. It's constant force. That's why we're
Do you
so
have an
strong.
excerpt? Do you have more there?
You know, it's more just like I could play. Yeah, let's just play an excerpt. You can hear just a little bit of this here.
Is the media deliberately scaring people about North Korea? Are Republicans really willing to cancel the 2020 election? And we're about to have on the famous, infamous, most important guy in America today, James Damore, the Google memo guy, in just a second. I'm Ben Shapiro. This is The Ben Shapiro Show.
That's the whole Google memo. That's
Right. Diversity sessions in which they discuss all of this. Can you take us inside one of those? What does that look like from the inside?
It's just a group of all these people talking about the benefits of diversity and how much they love diversity and all the sexism and racism that happens and how we have to try to fix that.
Okay, we know that Google has spent some $265 million apparently trying to increase their diversity ratios, and this, of course, has been a wild fail. Well, I've read your memo at least 3 times now because I just want to make sure I'm not crazy. Because
is
if you
very
watch the
funny,
media
too.
coverage of your memo,
he's
it
real
is not
fast.
in any
He's
way
funny. He's
related to
funny.
the actual content of the memo. The media has made a bunch of different claims about the memo. They've said that you were saying in the memo that women are biologically unfit for tech. That was a chyron on CNN. Were you making the claim, James Damore, Google memo guy, were you making the claim that women are biologically unfit for the tech industry?
No, I was just trying to explain why we see a disparity in the population of people that are interested in working in tech.
And you can see that right there. I mean, I'm quoting your memo back to you here, but it says, I'm not saying that all men differ from all women in the following ways so that these differences are just. I'm simply stating that the distribution of preferences and abilities of men and women differ in part due to biological causes. This has been translated by the left into you are saying that women ought not work in tech or they're unqualified for tech. You weren't even saying, when you have an entire section of your memo promoting the idea that there should be more women in tech, and you offered a bunch of ways that you think that the tech community could be made more welcoming to women. So are you in favor of more women in tech?
Yeah, I mean, I like women, right? So, and if we're in general just trying to get more people interested in tech, then that would be one way to do it.
So I want to...
Yeah.
So there was a little bit of sexism in there, inside the trying to disprove sexism conversation. I like women. It's like, dude, that's not what he meant. It's so funny because they're trying to have fun.
I think everyone needs to chill the fuck out and not be so sensitive.
They're trying to have fun and let it go.
Yeah.
And break up the noise with some fun. That's what the left does. Can't the right do it? The left, they laugh and they make jokes about how people look, mostly. That's mostly what's happening.
On the left, yeah.
This one, they're just doing, it's like, I don't know. You know, my empathy goes, if this reaches people and improves their lives, then great. I think that's happening. If it upsets some people,
well, that's a good metric for
usually later, it'll be because they learned something. So it's like, to ruffle the feathers a little bit like this in the way non-violently, just with words, is like, okay, let's allow that to happen.
That's why we need free speech, right? You can be offensive in your ideas, in your presentation of your ideas, and your idea might be sound, right? And it's like, oh, I see. He's being provocative so that I'll listen.
Yeah.
And that's a risky thing because sometimes you're just offended and you don't want to listen. But I think if we listened more, the world would be a better place.
I think so too. Well said, Aubrey. Okay. So I think we can...
All right. I'm going to take a quick break. I'm going to have play a Sounds Good for you.
Okay. Thank you. And then we should probably hear a word from our sponsor.
Okay. thanks for listening. That was a little song called Relax
Oh, nice. Thank you. That was great.
from the 2010 album Shader Pal.
What's the band name?
Aubrey Cloutier.
Awesome. You did all the instruments?
Mm-hmm.
You played live drums or used computer drums?
Computer drums. Yeah. Sorry.
Hey, those are computer drums, I guess.
So maybe a word from our sponsor?
Let's do
Is
that.
it
Yeah.
time
So
for that?
Final Corp, they sales have dipped a little, and they need our help. We have a message to share, and that Final Corp is we're starting a sale on all of our mayonnaise products, namely Multi-A's. Of course, you know Multi-A's
Multi-A's.
is useful in so many applications. You can use it to brush your teeth.
Mm-hmm.
You can use it as shampoo.
Mm-hmm.
It will repair a computer.
Mm-hmm.
You can caulk your bathroom.
Correct.
Also seal a tire.
Yep.
And it works as a hairspray also.
You can use it as water.
Mm-hmm. You can drink it, and technically it's a sandwich spread.
You can use it as syrup. You can use it as plain old mayonnaise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Multi-A's on sale, 20% off now. Get your caulk gun today of Multi-A's.
A
And,
gun cartridge
It's
of
basically
mayonnaise.
a big gun of mayonnaise.
I like it. Final Corp. It'll be fine.
Final Corp. It'll be fine.
$55 flavors of mayonnaise, 55 years of experience. Final Corp. It'll be fine. Thanks, Final Corp.
Yeah, appreciate your
Longtime
sponsorship.
supporter of the show. All right.
All right,
what
we
else
have
we got?
We have right now. It's time for Sounds Good Part 2.
Okay, let's do
Ready?
it. Ready?
It's one of my pieces. That's called Heavy Piano by Solipsis 83.
Huh.
Yeah.
All right, cool. That's an hour. Do we want to call it? What do you got?
I think we'll call that a great show.
I think we'll call it a great show. I'm on board with that.
Okay, so then let's.
Oh, I did want to say, maybe is there like an empathy challenge?
Ooh, okay.
Is there like
Oh, yeah,
something
that's
from
good,
the
good.
past
Yeah,
week
yeah,
that's
yeah.
maybe you were like, you had an immediate reaction to it, and then later thought, well, maybe there's a more measured reaction to this.
Yeah, that's a good empathy challenge.
What was that?
You know, I'll say, arriving at the honeymoon site, I had an experience. Rebecca had a big
You were like,
experience
This
first.
is not what I expected.
Well, Rebecca had a big experience, and then later when I realized there was no stove, I was like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" And I went into I was not happy. So we quickly drove down to the thing, and I had to calmly measure what I was
drove
saying.
down to the owner?
Uh-huh. and I had to calmly like express like what the fuck is going on, and the mattress was super hard, like from the 70s, like kind of not really it's really fucked up. So
A block.
right,
Semi-soft block.
mostly like
Damn.
a hard thing.
This is so you drove down to talk to the proprietor?
Yeah.
Yeah.
On our
Okay.
first night of
Okay.
arriving there,
Okay.
because I was in a state, and Rebecca was further in a state, and then I was like, "Rrr," and she was like, what we mean to say is, and then she would say something nicer,
Okay.
because like I had gotten to like,
You were at that point.
I was at that
Huh.
point.
I'm surprised.
Me
Must
too.
have been really at odds with what you expected.
It was
For you
very
for you
much
to be that pissed.
very different.
How far away was it from? Oh, it's quite a ways.
19
Okay, I'm
miles.
sorry. No, from the ceremony site. It's like what? 5 hours, 6 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had a
It's like-
lovely
'cause it's like
drive, dude.
3
It was
hours.
perfect. The
We
drive
had
was
a
so
lovely
much
drive,
fun.
and he showed up and was like,
We had the perfect wedding and a lovely drive and lunch at a really great brewery, and then it was like we can't even cook the food. There's spider webs everywhere. We're a 40 minutes drive from all the things we wanted to do. Dang it. But then
you were pissed.
empathy, I was like, it took me until like late that night, and that's when I received the gift that it was like, okay, this is actually a real gem. It just isn't what I was picturing.
Right.
It's just a gem in different
You have to
ways.
appreciate it in a different way.
It's just a gem
Yeah.
in a different way, and
Huh.
I really let that
Cool.
soak in. And then I was like, oh, I don't want to let it go. And but even
Right,
it was
right.
like
From hating it to
Mhm.
coveting it.
I was going along with her, and she was like trying to find another place to go, and I'm like missing it a little. I'm like thinking about the cool private space, and I'm like, yeah, we're like it's all right now, you know. But then like she sort of has her experience, and I just patiently go along.
Yeah.
I'm on board because it's
Hmm.
like
You guys should get married. Oh,
I know,
shit.
right?
Wait.
So then it's like she finds this place, and before we even go to it, I know it's not going to be as cool as the one we're at. We go to it, and it was not as cool as the one we
Oh,
were
that's
at.
interesting. You actually checked out another
Yeah,
site.
we called many and actually saw 3.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
This was a huge issue.
yeah. Rebecca wanted
Holy
to move.
shit.
She wanted to move.
Holy shit. Okay.
So we actually went into 3
Huh.
different establishments.
All right.
We ended up actually touring one room, and it was like on top of the other rooms. It was surrounded by concrete. There was no outdoor private space.
KOA of
Yeah,
of
it was like
the honeymoons.
and it was still 3 miles away, so we couldn't walk anyway
Yeah.
to the shit she wanted to do. So it turns out, I was like, no, our place is better. And I was right.
How long did it take her to get the gift? Of empathy?
Basically, that night, the second
Okay.
night, she got the gift.
Second night.
And then we were like, oh, cool, we don't want to give this up.
It's funny, isn't it? That's why humans are they're not rational. All those decisions
Just
are
sometimes
not rational.
things aren't what you expect.
The original
man.
thing, the original experience you had is not rational. I mean, it is rational. Oh, this isn't what it looked like on paper. But then you are there, and you have a emotional reaction, and that's what actually dictates your decision.
And also, I was reacting to her emotional reaction. I was
Right.
taking on some of it.
Right.
And then I had some of my own, and I was like, that's enough. I got to deal with this shit.
Overload, yeah. You gotta push the
we
empathy.
we
push
actually
the empathy
we
button.
paid a lot of money to be here,
Yeah.
and hell, shit's broken.
Yep.
But it's like that's not what it's about.
It's not about the objects. It's about I'm just here with this other. I just married this person.
And
That's
the,
pretty cool.
and the space.
Let's
every
not
space
waste
is
that
a
time
gem.
like messing around and trying to get another spot.
But we gave it a little time just to play with the devil,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, no, of course.
Just play with it. Just go let it play out, so you're not worrying. You could have, you know.
If you had spent the whole week looking for a new place, that
I was like, we're gonna look today, and that's it.
mm-hmm.
And she
And
was
you
like,
did.
fair.
Yeah.
And the search wasn't even unfun.
fair.
The search.
Fair.
And I was following her around from place to place, driving her, like being helpful. I was like, it wasn't not fun. I got to see a bunch of cool places.
Huh.
I just
That's awesome.
checked out the available stuff.
Yeah,
But she was like,
this is here too.
it's our honeymoon. So
Well,
yeah.
yeah. I mean, it's a once in a lifetime thing. You want everything to be perfect.
Right.
But
And it
guess
was.
what? Yeah,
It
but
was.
guess what? You can take a trip anytime.
And we have
And you can,
weekends
like,
off now.
You can do like a honeymoon 2.0,
Fuck yeah,
3.0,
dude.
4.0,
And
5.0.
that place is cheap
Yeah.
enough and not far enough. We'll be back. We'll be
Just
back
bring
to Howard Creek
bring
Ranch.
food and bring
Uh-huh. Charcoal
and a pump,
and a
or excuse me, a filter and a
Just
heater.
all I
Bring
would
it.
bring
Just
is a
bring the hot
plug.
tub.
I'd bring a plug. That's all I'd bring. I'd bring a plug and some charcoal, and that we'd be fine.
That's right, because it did have a pump.
It has a pump.
Yeah. Thanks everybody for listening. You can check us out on YouTube. Empathy and Imagination is the name of the channel. We're also on iTunes, and we're also on Patreon. Patreon.com/empathy and imagination. And if you're an old timer, you can go to our website, www.empathyandimaginationcom,
and simple website.
and that's there's some show notes there, links, and of course the audio files. So, thank you from Aubrey Cloutier.
And thank you very much from Drew Clark.
We'll see you next time.
See you soon.
Bye.
Hi. I just wanted to say that I really appreciate you guys doing the show, and I just really like the content. And listening to you guys, I just kind of feel like part of the solutions are already in place, and that we're just on a good path. So I just appreciate it. And yeah, hey, what were you gonna say? Yeah. Cool.
Hey, this is Aubrey here. Just wanted to call and congratulate you guys. Doing a great job, Drew. I want to thank you for all your hard work and for hosting the podcast